Hasta la vista. Nah, I'm off that. But what's up, everybody? As you guys may know, my name is Landon, and today I will be taking you guys on a journey with me. We will be taking on the all-new Indigo Disk DLC, and you already know we're doing lots of shiny hunting. I plan on playing through the entire DLC with only full-out shiny Pokemon from the Indigo Disk DLC. Now would be a good time to sit back, relax, and grab your favorite snack and drink. I hope you guys enjoy watching this and going through this journey as much as I did. It all starts off with you opening the game to a call from the director. He tells us that we are invited to a different school called the Blueberry Academy to take place in an exchange student program. Upon walking into the lobby of the academy, we are instantly greeted with the mystery director. After a small talk, we figure out that Carmine was the one who recommended us. And with all that out of the way, it was finally time to visit the Blueberry Academy. The Indigo Disk, Part 2. Bro, this is a school? Holy cow! What? The school itself is mostly underwater? After learning a little bit about the academy, we are greeted by a lady by the name of Lacey. We eventually figure out that she is a strong trainer, and of course, just like part 1 of the DLC, we are thrown into battle right away against Lacey. The double battle here? Oh my gosh, this is just like Gen 5, bro. I'm not gonna lie, she almost had me beat because, like usual, I wasn't prepared at all. But we eventually got through it. And now it was finally time to see the terrarium for the first time. How the f is this underwater, Jit? Oh my god. It's a fat ass terrarium. Bing bong bong bing. If you've played through the DLC, then you know that they give you an assignment right away. But I said f all that boring stuff and got straight to exploring the terrarium. They added Flygon to the game. Oh my gosh. Is that Blitzel? Yeah. So good. Oh, it's Solosis! Yes! There's Lapras, bro. Yo, it's Smeargle, Jit. They have Smeargle on this game, man. Oh, it's Beldum! Oh my gosh. Yo, go lit. Hey, what's up, bro? Oh, Scraggy! Scraggy! You where have you been? For the past 4 generations. No. After exploring the terrarium for a bit, I saw some familiar faces, and finally picked my first target. If you couldn't tell from my reaction, I was so happy to see Scraggy, and I knew I had to shiny hunt him. So I made a dark type sandwich and got to work instantly. Nah, bro, I'm not watching it. Got him. Oh, shiny Scraggy. Let's go, baby. Easy. First one of the playthrough. Luxury ball. Hey. Caught him first try. Let's go, bro. Y'all already know, this wouldn't be a Landon video if I didn't do something dumb as f. I played through the whole playthrough without naming a single one of my mons, but it's okay, because I still named all of them after I realized it. For our shiny Scraggy, we moved the name Fancy Pants, and when you guys see the evolution, you'll see why. Now that we have our first member on the team, I got straight to grinding BP. And if you know anything about grinding BP in the DLC, It's way easier to do in a multiplayer lobby because it all stacks. But I did it all solo because I'm crazy and have no friends. But with that being said, I got enough to increase the variety of Pokemon that spawn. I went with the Canyon biome to unlock one of my favorite shiny starters of all time. And that starter was Tepig. This hunt was pretty smooth. I made a fire sandwich and reset the spawns by going back and forth between the central plaza and the canyon biome. After about 2 hours, my shiny Tepig appeared. Hey, shiny Tepig. Let's go, baby. I didn't take long at all. Wait, I didn't say it correctly. What was that? Look at that beautiful thing right there. Yeah. What's up, boy? Let's go. Let's go, baby. We caught it. Alright, we don't gotta worry about it. We evolved our shiny Tepig into a Pignite, which has a pretty respectable shiny. But the reason why Tepig is one of my favorite shiny starters is the last evolution. Shiny Emboar looks fantastic, and they didn't disappoint with the shiny in this generation. With our second member out of the way, I went straight to the polar biome. My next hunt was going to be a Pokemon that I personally have never hunted or even used for that matter, because I haven't put enough time into Gen 8. But thankfully, in Gen 9, this Pokemon got a new evolution, so I just had to hunt one. This Pokemon is Duraludon. This was another smooth hunt because I found a route on the big mountain and made a dragon sandwich. Not too long after, my shiny Duraludon appeared. Shiny Duraludon, baby. I have my mic muted. I'm in the middle of making food right now. Come here, boy. Easy, bro. We're knocking these hunts out. There we go. Get in the ball, buddy. Nice. Let's go. I went with the nickname London, and yes I know, the final evolution is based off the Manhattan Bridge, but the Duraludon ended up being female, and my name is Landon, and the London Bridge, so I just thought it went well. So far we already have half the team done. And I decided that I wanted a good water type, and luckily for me, they just added all the starters to the game. I ended up choosing Squirtle. I could have went with something a little more unique, but I plan on full-out shiny hunting every starter for a video anyways. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that video when I get to it. Squirtle can be found in the canyon biome, and since I had already unlocked that biome for the starters, it worked out perfectly for me. I reset for an outbreak and full-outs hunted it. To my surprise, I got my third shiny of the day not too long after. Hey, shiny Squirtle already, bro. Oh my goodness, we're just popping off today. 3 in 1 day. Okay. Come here, boy. Nice. First ball. Easy, bro. Okay. Okay. We went with the nickname Donatello. The Ninja Turtles was one of my favorites growing up, and let's be honest, Donatello fits perfectly since he wears purple and Blastoise turns purple when shiny. We evolved our Squirtle into a Wartortle. And then into the beautiful Blastoise. By the way, whoever did the textures did a fantastic job. I mean, look at that webbing on Blastoise's skin and the texture on the shell. For the 5th member of the team, I decided to go for an S tier shiny Pokemon that got added to the DLC. This Pokemon is Beldum. This hunt can easily be done in the same spot I hunted Duraludon. Use a Psychic type sandwich and it will be one of the only things that spawn. But did you really think that we were gonna get through the whole video without phasing at least once? Okay. We finally phased after getting 4 targets without one. So honestly, I wasn't upset at all. And since Alolan Sandshrew has a great shiny, and I didn't have one prior, I couldn't really complain. Getting that shiny Sandshrew upped my shiny count for the day to 4, which if you haven't full odds hunted before, doesn't happen very often. So I decided to keep going to see if I could push my luck even more. What happened next though, was something that I really wasn't expecting. Yeah, bro. Oh, that's a shiny Metang. Oh my goodness. Bro. Bro. Holy cow. What? 20 minutes after the Sandshrew. Hey, caught it, bro. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we got the shiny Metang 20 minutes after the Sandshrew, and the craziest part was the fact that it was a Metang and not a Beldum. I decided on the name Professor X and evolved it into a beautiful shiny Metagross. Unfortunately for me, the insane shiny luck I was having that day would come to a stop, but that's okay, because the next day I made it my goal to get the last target for the team. This target got 2 new evolutions, with 1 in each DLC. This Pokemon is Applin. We specifically want the final evolution, Hydrapple, but unfortunately you can't hunt it in the wild. I decided to just reset for an outbreak in Paldea, instead of trying to hunt it in Kitakami. What made this shiny Applin cool though, was the fact that I called it not too long before I got it. I'm gonna hatch a shiny, full shiny one of these days. It's gonna be tonight. Watch, meet the shiny Quaxley tonight. Either that or the Applin, boy. I hit for 120. Game my body's dead. I fucking have 4K and I take it for 120, right? Hey, there's a shiny Applin right there. I told you, Ryan. You know what I'm saying? The power is strong. Manifestation power is a thing. Throw some larger balls at it. Caught it first ball. Oh shit. Sage caught me with my pants down, brother. We decided on the name The Big Apple because, well, New York and Unova, and the fact that it has an apple on its horn made it perfect. We then evolved it into a Diplin, which I don't have the recording of for some reason, and then into the beautiful Hydrapple. Now that we have our full team of beautifully shiny Pokemon fully evolved, it was finally time to take on the Elite Four of the Blueberry Academy. I showed the evolution for Hydrapple already, but in reality, that didn't happen until after my first Elite Four match. And the reasoning for that was because in order to evolve Dipplin, we need to teach it the move Dragon Cheer. And this team can be obtained by defeating the Elite Four's Drayton. Drayton has a pretty good team and honestly gave me some problems. And yes, my Pokemon are way over leveled for this, but I don't really give a This is my video, so I do whatever the I want. And plus, I don't have too many good counters for Drayton's team. Drayton technically should have been the last battle of the Elite Four, but since I wanted Hydrapple, I took him on first. And one more thing, before I get into the battle, remember the shiny Alolan Sandshrew we got as a phase? Well, I never said I couldn't use her, so we went ahead and nicknamed her Roxy, and then evolved her into a Sandslash. With that being said, it was time to start our first Elite Four match against Drayton. Drayton leads with the Flygon and a Dragonite, so we decided to lead with London and Donatello. We decided to terrestrialize London right off the bat. Flygon starts things off with a breaking swipe that doesn't do too much damage. We then retaliate with a Draco Meteor that one-shots Flygon. Donatello then goes for an Ice Spinner on Dragonite that doesn't do too much because of the Yache Berry that it's holding. I decide to switch out Donatello for Pyra in anticipation of Drayton sending out Sceptile. Sceptile then goes for a Leaf Storm that doesn't do too much to Pyra. Dragonite then goes for a Thunder Punch on London. We then go for a Dragon Pulse on Dragonite, which then drops it to half HP. Dragonite goes for another Thunder Punch, this time getting a crit. We go for another Draco Meteor on Dragonite, which drops it pretty low. Pyra then hits a powerful Flamethrower, and we also get lucky with a Burn. Sceptile then retaliates with an Acrobatics that does a good chunk of damage to Pyra, and Dragonite of course goes for another Thunder Punch, getting another crit and also getting a Para on London. Pyra then KOs Sceptile with the Flamethrower. We then get lucky and hit a Dragon Pulse on Dragonite to pick up the KO. Drayton sends out Haxorus and Kingdra, so we swap out Pyra for Fancy Pants. Haxorus goes for a Dragon Dance while Kingdra goes for a Rain Dance. We then go for a Draco Meteor on Haxorus, which does a lot of damage. Kingdra goes for a Hurricane on Fancy Pants that also does a lot. Haxorus then goes for an Earthquake, which KOs London and brings Fancy Pants to the red. Fancy Pants then hits an Ice Punch that gets revenge for London. We decided to send out Professor X next. Kingdra goes for another Hurricane, which KOs Fancy Pants. Archaludon goes for an Electro Shot that brings Professor X to 1 HP. Professor X then goes for a Zen Headbutt on Archaludon. We sent out Roxy, who avoids Kingdra's Hydro Pump but then gets instantly KO'd from an Electro Shot. Professor X goes for a Zen Headbutt that brings Kingdra to the red. We send in Donatello and Kingdra misses another Hydro Pump. Donatello goes for an Ice Spinner that does a little bit to Archaludon. Drayton then comes back with another Electro Shot that KOs Professor X. We decided to send out Pyra, who then gets instantly KO'd by a Hydro Pump. We go for another Ice Spinner that does a little bit more damage to Archaludon. Drayton then goes for a Rain Dance trying to set up. We decided to take our chances with a Hydro Pump, but unfortunately just barely fall short of the KO. Drayton goes for another Electro Shot that KOs Donatello. Kingdra then goes for a Hurricane that brings Fancy Pants into the red. Before Drayton picks up the KO, we get a Revive Up and survive a Hydro Pump to KO Archaludon with a Draco Meteor. And yes, I did use potions and stuff because like I said earlier, I do whatever the I want. Kingdra hits a Hydro Pump. Then we pick up the KO on Archaludon with a Draco Meteor. Kingdra hits a Hydro Pump that misses, and on the next turn, we hit it with a Dragon Pulse to secure the victory over Drayton. That battle was a lot harder than it should have been, but y'all know I never prepare, and my team didn't exactly have a lot of different typings. Next up is our battle against Crispin, who specializes in fire types. Crispin leads with Talonflame and Rotom Heat. I decided to leave with Pyra and Professor X. Crispin leads things off with a Rave Bird that does a lot to Pyra. Rotom Heat then hits an Overheat that leaves Professor X with 1 HP. Professor X retaliates with a Thunder Punch that takes out Talonflame. Unfortunately, Professor X picks up a burn. Pyra then goes for a Head Smash on Rotom to pick up a KO, but goes down because of Recoil and Rocky Helmet. Professor X then also goes down due to its burn. We decided to send out London and Fancy Pants next. We go for a Draco Meteor on Executor that does a good chunk of damage. Fancy Pants then goes for a high jump kick on Camerupt. Executor goes for a Leech Seed, and Camerupt goes for a Heat Wave. We decided to KO Camerupt with a Draco Meteor and then go for an Ice Punch on Executor. We end up missing a Draco Meteor next turn on Executor, and Magmortar goes for a Heat Wave that gets a KO on London. We then go for a Crunch that KOs Executor and decide to send out Donatello. We terrasilize Donatello in hopes of finishing this up quickly. Magmortar hits another Heat Wave that doesn't do too much, and then we retaliate with a Hydro Pump to bring Blaziken to 1 HP. Blaziken then goes for a Focus Blast that leaves Fancy Pants with 1 HP as well. We hit a high jump kick on Magmortar to bring its HP to the yellow. Blaziken then goes for another Focus Blast and picks up the KO on Fancy Pants. Magmortar hits another Heat Wave that does very little damage, and we pick up the trade with another Hydro Pump on Blaziken. We send out Hydrapple, and Magmortar goes for a deadly Thunderbolt that almost KOs Donatello. We go for one last Hydro Pump, and that is enough to secure the victory over Crispin. Next on our Elite 4 hit list is Amaris. She specializes in Psychic types, which I don't have too many counters for. Amaris leads with an Alolan Dugtrio and Skarmory, so we decided to lead with Pyra and the Big Apple. Dugtrio goes for an Iron Head that doesn't do too much. Skarmory sets up Stealth Rock. We go for a super effective Flamethrower and bring Skarmory to 1 HP. We then go for an Energy Ball on Dugtrio that also drops it to the red. Dugtrio goes for an Earthquake that does a lot to Pyra. We then go for another Flamethrower that takes out the Skarmory. The Big Apple then picks up a KO on Dugtrio with an Energy Ball. Next out for Amaris is Reuniclus and Empoleon, so we swap in Fancy Pants in London. Reuniclus goes for a Psychic, but it doesn't affect Fancy Pants. We go for a Crunch that does about half HP, and Empoleon goes for a Hydro Pump that brings Fancy Pants to the yellow. Reuniclus then goes for a Protect, while Empoleon goes for a Hydro Pump, but it misses. Our Crunch gets blocked, but we hit a super effective Electro Shot that takes out Empoleon. We then decide to terrasilize London, hoping to secure the victory. Scissor goes for a Bullet Punch that takes out Fancy Pants, and London gets hit with an Energy Ball that doesn't do much. We send out Donatello, and Amaris goes for another Protect. Scizor then goes for a Trailblaze that almost takes out Donatello. We then decide to go for an Ice Spinner, but it gets blocked. London then hits an Electro Shot on Scizor to bring it to 1 HP. Amaris goes for an Energy Ball that almost takes out Donatello, and unfortunately we get outsped, and Donatello goes down to a Trailblaze. We then take out Scizor with a Dragon Pulse to get the trade, and we send Pyra out. London goes for a Draco Meteor that takes out Reuniclus. Metagross then goes for a Zen Headbutt that takes out Pyra. We send out the Big Apple, but immediately gets KO'd from an Ice Punch. We then send out Professor X and go for an Electro Shot that brings Metagross to less than half HP. Professor X hits a Zen Headbutt to lower Metagross's HP. Metagross then gets a KO on London. At this point, it's a battle between Zen Headbutts, and we eventually get the win over Amaris. For our final Elite Four battle, we will be facing off against the Fairy type specialist, who we fought at the beginning of the DLC, Lacey. Lacey leads with Gramble and Whimsicott. We decided to lead with Professor X and Pyra. Professor X starts things off with a meteor map. Pyra then goes for a super effective flamethrower that drops Whimsicott to the yellow. We swap out Professor X for Fancy Pants, and Whimsicott sets up a Tailwind. Slowbro then goes for a Psychic on Pyra and does a lot of damage. Pyra then hits another flamethrower on Slowbro and we get a lucky crit. Whimsicott then hits a Moon Blast and takes out Pyra. Slowbro then goes for a Psychic, but it doesn't affect Fancy Pants. Fancy Pants then hits a Crunch and takes out Slowbro. We then send out Professor X and Whimsicott goes for a Moon Blast that almost takes out Fancy Pants. Primarina then goes for another Moon Blast as well, but the game bails us out. We go for a Thunder Punch and bring Primarina's HP to less than half. Fancy Pants then goes for a High Jump Kick to pick up the KO on Whimsicott. We swap in London and Alchemy goes for an Alluring Voice. Primarina then goes for another Moon Blast, bringing London very low. We retaliate with the Thunder Punch and pick up another KO. We then send in Donatello and then get hit by a high horsepower from Excadrill. London goes for a Flash Cannon that does almost half HP to Alchemy. Alchemy goes for a Decorate to boost Excadrill's stats. We decided to Terrasilize London and get bailed out once again after Excadrill hits a super effective high horsepower. We go for a Flash Cannon that does a lot to Excadrill and then go for a Hydro Pump that brings Alchemy's HP to the yellow. Alchemy then goes for another Decorate and Excadrill goes for another high horsepower, but we get bailed out once again. Is it just me, or is this friendship thing kinda OP? On the next turn, we go for another Flash Cannon that takes out Excadrill, and one more Hydro Pump secures a victory for us over Lacey. Now it's finally time to battle the Edgelord himself, Kieran. Kieran led with a Politoed and Dragonite, so we lead with the Big Apple and Donatello. We start things off with a Blizzard that does about half HP to Dragonite. Kieran then goes for an Ice Beam that drops the Big Apple to 1 HP, and then Dragonite goes for a Hurricane to finish off the Big Apple. We swap in London and then go for a super effective Electro Shot on Politoed. We then go for another Blizzard and pick up a KO on Dragonite. Kieran then goes for a Psychic on London that doesn't do much. And in the next turn goes for a Helping Hand. Porygon Z then goes for an Ice Beam that does a lot, but we retaliate with a Draco Meteor that gets us another KO. We then go for another Blizzard and take away a little bit of Politoed's HP. We then swap in Pyra and go for a Hydro Pump to take out Politoed. Incineroar goes for a Brick Break on Pyra. Grimmsnarl sets up a Reflect and we decide to go for a Hydro Pump that one-shots Incineroar. We go for a Blizzard, but Grimmsnarl dodges it, and then Pyra gets hit with a Spirit Break that drops her HP low. We then go for a Flamethrower that doesn't do much due to the Dragon type Terrasalization. Kieran then goes for an Earth Power that KOs Pyra. We used a potion on London, and then send her out and immediately Terrasilize in hopes of closing this battle out. We go for a Flash Cannon that drops Grimmsnarl to 1 HP. Donatello goes for a Hydro Pump that does a chunk of damage to Hydrapple. Grimmsnarl then goes for a Spirit Break that doesn't do much. Hydrapple then goes for a Fickle Beam that does almost half of Donatello's HP. Grimmsnarl then goes for a Sucker Punch, and we retaliate with a Flash Cannon that takes out Grimmsnarl. Donatello goes for a Hydro Pump, but Hydrapple dodges it and uses a Terra Blast that takes out London. We send out Fancy Pants and go for another Hydro Pump that drops Hydrapple to 1 HP, and then we get a High Jump Kick off with Fancy Pants, and that is enough to secure us a victory over the Edgelord himself. Even though we defeated the Elite Four and Kieran, the journey doesn't end there just yet. After defeating Kieran, we are told over the speakers to meet in Miss Briar's classroom. When we get there, Miss Briar tells us that we are going on a trip to Area Zero. She also tells us that she hopes to find the treasure of Area Zero, Terrapagos. She explains the situation and says that it is very dangerous, but that is precisely why we have to go investigate. And with that being said, it was finally time to go back to Area 0 and uncover the secrets that lie below Area 0. Upon arrival, Miss Breyer explains that we need to go deeper within Area 0. Miss Breyer gives us the go to take the lead, and we make our way down to the Zero Lab. Unfortunately, the door wasn't just left wide open for us, so we had to figure something out, and eventually found out that the Indigo Disk that we received actually opens the door. When we get inside, Carmine notices the elevator, and that is our ticket to go even deeper within Area 0. When we walk outside of the elevator, Miss Breyer finds desks with lots of papers on them. She finds out that there is a report written by Professor Turo on them. The report reveals that Terapagos, which is the treasure of Area 0, is actually down here sleeping. While trying to push further down into the depths of Area 0, we were faced with an obstacle in our path. Not being sure what to do about it, we saw a Glamora that looked a little bit different off to the side. And of course, we have to battle it. When we started the battle, it did something strange. It terastallized, which isn't a thing that is strange, but what was strange was the Terra type that it took. After taking out the Glamora, the obstacle in our path suddenly disappeared. And upon further thought, we find out that that indeed was a different Terra type, called the Stellar Terra type. After defeating a few more terastallized Pokemon, we come across one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in Scarlet and Violet.
Wow.
After defeating the last terrestrialized Pokemon in our way, we finally got to see the hidden treasure of Area 0, but things didn't go to plan at first. Yo, so cute. I was not expecting it to be that small at first. I already know it's about to get big as heck. Just like something the Edgelord himself would do, he comes swooping in trying to take all of our credit. So of course, we gotta beat his one more time to show him who the alpha is around here. Terrapagos instantly changes forms and leads with a super effective earth power. We go for a flamethrower that barely does anything and then decide that it's best to switch out into London to try and get more damage off. Terrapagos lands another earth power that does a lot of damage to London, and London retaliates with a Draco Meteor that does a decent chunk. However, one more earth power is enough to take out London, and we decide that it's time to bring out Fancy Pants. Terrapagos hits another earth power, this time not doing much, and we go for an ice punch that also doesn't do much. Next turn, Terrapagos goes for yet another earth power, while we go for a super effective high jump kick, finding its weakness. We eat one last earth power before hitting a high jump kick that gives us a victory over Kieran once again. And just like that, Kieran everything up like he usually does, and now we have to battle this demigod of a Pokemon. Terrapagos has now terrestrialized and has a stellar Terra type on top of that. And look at this dude, he froze. Like, are you serious, my guy? Terrapagos leads with an Earth power that instantly takes out Pyra. We swap into Fancy Pants in hopes to get some good damage off. Terrapagos goes for a Terra Starstorm that doesn't do much. We go for a super effective high jump kick that barely does anything and then get hit with another Terra Starstorm. We go for another high jump kick, barely doing anything. Once again, we potion up and thankfully Terrapagos goes for a Zen Headbutt on Sinistcha. We decided to terrestrialize Fancy Pants and then get hit with another Terra Starstorm that is now super effective. Next turn we go for another high jump kick that is a good chunk. Terrapagos drains our terrestrialization powers and then goes for another Terra Starstorm. We then retaliate with a high jump kick. We decide to swap into Donatello and suddenly get hit with a Terra Starstorm. We go for a Hydro Pump, but with his shield it barely does anything. And Terrapagos goes for a Zen Headbutt. We go for another terrestrialization and then go for a Hydro Pump that does a good amount of damage. Once again our powers get stolen, and look who finally decided to help out. We go for a Hydro Pump that barely does anything, and Donatello goes down to a Terra Starstorm. We send out the Big Apple next and go for another terrestrialization, hoping that we don't have to do it again. The Big Apple hits a Dragon Pulse that does a good chunk and then gets hit by a super effective Terra Starstorm that drops us low. On the next turn, we take off its shield with another Dragon Pulse, but then get KO'd by yet another Terra Starstorm. We send out Professor X and then eat another Terra Starstorm. We go for a Meteor Mash that barely does anything. We get a Revive off, and then Terrappa goes for its favorite move. See what I did there? Alright, I'ma shut up now. Eventually, we whittle it down, and a Thunder from Kieran's Dragonite is enough to finally bring this battle to an end. And just like that, our Indigo Disk journey has come to a wrap. We caught lots of beautiful shiny Pokemon, and some legendary Pokemon as well on the way. We took some and beat some names. Wait, did I say that right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this journey that we embarked on together. I would appreciate it if you guys left a like, because these videos definitely take time to make. And I hope you guys appreciate the fact that I hunt full odds instead of taking all the easy ways out. Make sure you guys stay positive and have a fantastic New Year's. This year we're going to excel to a whole different level, so stay around. I'll see you on the next one.
See the light shining.